Hi boys and girls, happy Tuesday. It's time for our daily read aloud. I sure do miss reading to you in the classroom, but we're going to make the best of it. And here we go. Today is chapter 43, The Operation. Midnight, and the children were wide awake in their beds. Jaya and Jad were waiting for their father to fall asleep. Once he was snoring deeply, they tiptoed past his bedroom, down the stairs, and out the back door. They crept across the farm to a cluster of trees, and there was the old barn, looming above the undergrowth like a mountain. Its door was open a crack, and a wedge of light spilled outside. The children closed the door behind them and walked past wooden railings and stairways and up a ramp to a platform in the back corner of the barn. Lanterns hung from the walls and cast their soft light upon a large table. Standing behind the table was the robot. "Hello, children," said Roz. "How do you like our operating room?" "It's a little dark," said Jaya, "but it'll work." Jad pulled his computer from his pocket. As he brought up the diagram of Roz's body, his face tightened with worry. "We've never done anything like this before." "Just do your best," said Roz, patting him on the back. "That is all I can ask of you." The robot unfastened her tool belt and draped it over a railing. Then she lay flat on the table. It was time to begin. Jaya looked down at Roz. "All set?" Roz looked up at Jaya. "All set." The girl felt under the robot's head, found the button with her fingers, and pressed it. Click! Roz's body relaxed. Her quiet whirring slowly stopped. Her eyes faded to black. Jad took a deep breath. Then he grasped the robot's head in his hands and twisted until, thwip, it popped off. In the smooth socket where the head had just been was another button. Jaya pressed it, and the robot's chest opened up. They peered into the hollow chest cavity and saw a tangle of tubes connected to a grid of boxes. These were the robot's electronic organs. "That's the transmitter," said Jad, pointing. The children reached into the robot's chest, carefully removed a box and a tube, and set them on the table. "That was easy," said Jaya, smiling. "Actually, I think this is the transmitter over here," said Jad, and he removed another box. Then Jaya removed another tube. The boy checked his computer and said, "I might have this backward." A bead of sweat rolled down his forehead as he removed another box. "Wait, I think we should start over." Jaya nudged her brother out of the way and started plugging parts back into the robot's chest. "You're doing it wrong." Jad nudged his sister out of the way and started removing parts again. "I don't know about you, reader, but I'm a little confused." So were the children. Pretty soon, Roz's internal parts were strewn across the table, and nobody knew where anything was supposed to go. "Why did you remove so many boxes?" yelled Jaya. "Why did you remove so many tubes?" yelled Jad. The siblings argued for a while. Then they sat quietly for a while. Here's a picture. Lots of things all over the place. That's never a good idea. The children were tired and cranky and afraid that they'd never get Roz working again. Jaya slumped against the table and looked up at the ceiling. Then her eyes drifted to the lanterns dimly glowing above. And then she had an idea. She climbed onto a wooden railing, grabbed one of the lanterns from its hook, and climbed back down. When she held the lantern close to Roz's body, Jad noticed that there were different numbers lightly etched onto each of the internal parts. Now things were starting to make sense. The children quickly removed the correct box and tube. They put the robot back together, and they turned her on. Click! Roz's body tensed. Her quiet whirring slowly started. Her eyes began to glow. but she didn't say a word. "Are you okay?" said Jad. Roz pointed to her mouth. "Can you speak?" said Jaya. Roz shook her head. "She can't speak," cried the boy. "We must have put something back in the wrong place." Click. The children opened up Roz's body, rearranged some of her internal parts, and put her back together again. Click. Roz powered up and said, "Children, I can speak now, but I cannot move." Click. After hours of trial and error, and with morning light seeping into the barn, the operation was a success. Roz stood up, scanned her internal parts, and said, "Children, you did it! You removed my transmitter. Thank you so much for your help." "You're very welcome," said Jaya, yawning. Jad checked his computer. "I can still see your signal on the map," he said. "Your transmitter is still working, so keep it close until you leave the farm." And then he stuffed the little electronic device into the robot's tool belt. "Children, there is a bit of bad news," said Roz in a serious tone. "I know you have been up all night long, but I am afraid it is time for you both to get ready for school." Chapter 44, The Patient Robot. After being trapped on Hilltop Farm for nearly a year, Roz was now free to run away anytime she liked. But without Brightbill to guide her, she wouldn't make it far. So the robot patiently waited for spring to come and for her son to return so they could begin their long journey home together. Chapter 45, The Barn Conversations. As winter dragged on, Roz spent more of her time inside with the herd. There were long stretches of quiet. The cows chewed their hay. The robot tapped the farm computer. The wind gently rattled the windows. And then someone would start talking. Someone else would chime in. And the quiet of the barn would gradually be overtaken by conversations like these. "I am so bored." Tess was staring at the floor. "I can't wait until spring when I can wander through tall grass and feel warm sunlight on my back. I just hope I don't die of boredom first." Now I know none of you are telling your parents that you're bored, right? Find something to do. Old Annabelle snorted. "You young cows are spoiled rotten," she said. "Your lives are so easy, and still you find things to complain about." Tess rolled her eyes. Yeah, we should be grateful for what we've got. You've told us before." "Well, you should be grateful for what you've got," said Annabelle. "I've lived on other farms, and trust me, you have nothing to complain about." Tess couldn't help being curious, and she said, "What were those other farms like?" "Oh, I'd rather not discuss them," said Annabelle in a low voice. "You see, I witnessed some terrible things on those farms. It was a blessing when I was moved here, but I often think about the animals I left behind. I hope they're okay." The old cow sank into thought for a minute. "I know life here isn't perfect," she said at last, "but we have so much to be grateful for." Just like each and every one of us. We have our lovely herd, and we have this beautiful barn, and we have Roz, added Tess. "And we have Roz." Annabelle turned and smiled at the robot in the corner. "Roz listens to us and treats us with love and kindness, and she makes our lives as comfortable as she possibly can. We certainly will miss her when she's gone." "Roz, why do humans need so much cow's milk?" said Lily as the other cows crowded around her. It was a question they'd all been wondering about. "Well, there are billions of humans in the world," explained Roz, "and many of them drink milk and combine it with different ingredients to make different foods." "What kinds of foods?" said another calf. Butter and cheese and yogurt are made with milk, said Roz. Many desserts are also made with milk. What's a dessert? Said someone else. A dessert is a sweet food eaten at the end of a meal. Popular desserts include cake and custard and ice cream. This answer only raised more questions. What is cake? What is custard? What is ice cream? Roz tried her best to explain these foods to the calves, but it wasn't easy. After all, the robot couldn't even perform the simple act of eating. How could she possibly describe the flavors and sensations of tasting delicious desserts? Lily interrupted. Just tell me this, Roz. When we're older, will our milk be used to make desserts? Yes, said the robot. The calves smiled. Then they trotted away, happy in the knowledge that, someday, they'd help to bring sweet and delicious things into the world. It is almost spring, said Roz to the herd. It is almost time for me to run away back home to the wilderness. I am sorry that I must leave, but you will all be well cared for when I am gone. I promise. Cows began mooing from their stalls. Don't worry about us, Roz. There's no need to apologize. We understand why you're running away. Lily poked her head through the railings of her stall and said, I could never run away to the wilderness. I would be too frightened. I'd love to roam through the wilderness, said Tess. It sounds so exciting. No wilderness for me, thank you very much, said Annabelle. I just want a quiet, cozy life. I have plenty to fear in the wilderness, said Roz. However, I have more to fear here. I can never be my true self around humans, and so I must try to return to my home. I only wish I could do it by myself, she went on, but I need help. I could never escape from the farm without the children, and I could never find my way home without my son. I feel bad for asking so much of them. Don't feel bad, said Lily. Brightville and the children want to help you. They love you. We all do. The farm won't feel the same without you, Roz, but we know you're doing the right thing. The herd agreed with Lily, and throughout the barn, cows quietly nodded their heads. And that's where we're going to stop for today, boys and girls. Tomorrow's chapter is called The Spring, so we'll see what's going to happen. Mrs. Williams has been forgetting to read 365 Days of Wonder some days, so we're going to read 2 today. The one from yesterday says, the universe is what you illustrate it to be. So draw and illustrate what you want the universe to look like. And today, the difference between ordinary and extraordinary is that little extra. Let's all go the extra mile and be on our best behavior for moms and dads, and let's help out wherever we can. Okay, this is a tough time for everyone, so you have to do your part, okay? All right, let's see. I have the picture on my iPad to share of Marin's Easter art project that she did. Let me get it up here. Here we go. So here's Marin and her little Easter bunnies that she made from the toilet roll holder. So great job doing a little Easter craft there, Marin. Thumbs up. And we have a joke today from Ethan. And his joke is, why did the orange go to the doctor? Why did the orange go to the doctor? Because he wasn't peeling well. Good one, Ethan. Hope you guys are having a great day. I'll see you tomorrow.